I'm doing well. How are you doing? I'm doing quite fine.
What's your name? What are you doing here?
My name is Michael Hooper. I am from the Netherlands, raised in Canada, and I am working now here in Cluj. You want me to continue on my life story a bit more in
go
that?
for it.
All right, cool. I was born almost 28 years ago to the day, and in the Netherlands, and I moved to Canada as a young baby, where I mainly grew up in the blistering colds of Canada.
Time zone, yes.
Yes. Now, and I moved back to the Netherlands when I was 12, learned the language just again. I was sort of an immigrant in my own country where I was born. It was a really weird feeling to have. But after just studying, not really finding my place in the world, not knowing what I wanted to do, I got in touch with this European project, helping students around Europe, which just taught me that I really didn't like living in the Netherlands as much as I thought I would. And I moved to Portugal, and that was, I think it's almost 5 years ago that I moved to Portugal, where I was just living for a few months, and then I got a really nice job offer right here in the city because it was twice the salary in a country half as expensive. So I didn't really.
Pretty nice.
Exactly. I didn't really have a reason to say no to that. And really learned to love the country over the course of a year, living here in the city, really loving it. Meeting some great friends that I'm still talking to up to this day. People that I stayed in touch with because after a year I have left the country. I moved to Egypt for a while because you have to see some things of the world, I would say, to really know where you want to be at, where you want to live. So I did that, which turned out not to be the best decision in my life, despite the country being beautiful. It has pyramids, it has great folks all around, the nicest people you will ever meet. But it's also quite dangerous. So my family forced me to move back to the Netherlands again, and I managed to stay there for a few months until I just got crazy again from just living there. Moved to the Czech Republic, to Prague, also a beautiful city with magnificent towers, also really great people. Some place that is very diverse, where you can easily feel at your place. Yeah, you feel included in such a place. It's very inclusive towards everybody, really. But ended up just missing Romania way too much at that point because I kind of integrated here up to some extent. So obviously I moved to Spain from there on to another Latin country, to Valencia, where I could just chill at the beach all day long with my coworkers. But what I was still just missing is the actual contact with the locals, which I always had here. So I moved back to Romania at that point again. I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna move back. Ended up in Bucharest, and ended up not liking it either for some reason. Despite me being back in Romania, I just didn't like it. And I ended up just coming to Cluj every single weekend by train, just traveling in between Bucharest and Cluj. Because every time I was here, I just felt really great again. You go out, you have some drinks with folks, you stand at a random table, you can talk to whomever is there, and everybody is just so nice and open and friendly. And, after going back to the Netherlands for a short while again, because of my girlfriend, we moved back here to Cluj again. She is from here. I just never moved again, and that was just over a year ago that I just moved back to Cluj again, and I have been here ever since, and I am at my happiest, I would say, in this city. It is never easy. It really is never easy to just move to another country and having to start all over again, being in a country where you do not speak the language, where people are generally not that great with the English language either, so it can be difficult to make friends. But then again, it's always a new adventure that you're getting into, just rediscovering something and taking a leap, really, into the depths and see where you end up, because you might just love where you are, and that's what happened here in the end. Living here for a while and moving out again was great way for me to realize that this is the place where I really want to be. Because back then I didn't realize it as much, but moving to other places in the world, and despite liking it a lot, despite having an adventure, despite liking the people, there's always that one thing that you miss, which I eventually discovered on my own by just thinking about it, this whole process, just having it on your own. Discovering that this is where I want to be, that this is where I like the people the best, that the people are just the friendliest here, but also that the quality of life compared to what you can make as a cellular around here is just really good, at least as a foreigner I would say, is really good. And there is nothing around here that I don't really like as much, really. That, like, all the bad things that you have here in Romania you can easily find everywhere else just the same. So when you're specifically in a city like Cluj, it is not really that much different from whatever you can find in Western Europe in the end. Excuse me.
If we did that, here's the coffee.
Thank you. I think that Romanians that move abroad for a better life, I think they generally actually do have a point. Because for me as a foreigner moving to this country, it is easier. I don't easily get into trouble here because I am a foreigner. People are generally more interested. I can find specific types of jobs that Romanians cannot do because I speak certain languages. I speak Dutch myself, for example. The average Romanian doesn't speak Dutch, I think. And that gets you a better job. And I have been seeing people around here with bachelor's degree, master's degrees that are still making less than I do, and I don't even know what to do, what they are doing in the slightest way. I really wouldn't know. And Romanians tend to move to other countries for a better lifestyle, but probably also not realizing that moving to the West gives you a better salary, but your life is going to be way more expensive as well in the end. But I can't see why they would have a point of doing such a thing, because you can still send money back to your family and things like that. It's not weird to me, but I do think that Romania it's really on its way back from these. It seems to go way better than it used to, right? Years ago. I would say that I was trying to find myself and my place in this world, really, because in the end, no matter how happy you have to be with yourself, it does help to have great people around you, to have friends, to have loved ones around you, and not necessarily family, but also the family that you're choosing to wherever you are. And that was the purpose of my trip, to find myself, to find my place, and in the process I managed to do so.
You somehow managed to.
Exactly. I somehow managed Cluj. The object.
Well, it's a Egyptian visa, ID.
It's an Egyptian foreign residence card. That's what it is.
How did you manage to get this? Like, how did it go?
Well,
It's quite complicated to get a visa.
it was, because the interesting part about working in Egypt is that it is incredibly expensive for companies to get a work permit for you. So instead, you just get a tourist visa and you work there illegally. It sounds very law-breaking or anything, but it isn't. I can say that 90% of the foreign people around here actually do that. So it's pretty normal to do it. But it was incredibly difficult to get this, because you have to get into this foreign office. And I had to go back 3 days in a row, just sitting around for 8 hours, giving them documents, and being in a foreign office where they don't speak English whatsoever, just Arabic, and I do not speak Arabic. So it was incredibly difficult to obtain it, but yeah, I'm happy that I got it back now, after you stole it from me last year.
Thank you so much.
Quite welcome.
I try not to steal your identity. You got some weird emails, I'm sorry.
I will deal with it.
I think that's it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.